G'day everyone, thought it was time for a new update as I play through Talavera. It is now the 28th of July. We're just about to start the 9 AM turn. So it's the second day. The forces have set themselves up and we're getting ready for some action. So we'll zoom in, have a look and see what things have been happening and take you through a tour of the battlefield. We might as well start in the north, up the top of the battlefield. So this is where Victor's corps positioned themselves, up here in the north. Now you can see they were Victor and his corps were sitting on this side over here, and we had the English down here. So what's happened is we've got Victor sitting at the back of his lines. We've got Valette up here. Villat. He hasn't been able to get himself moving. Everything's been going through initiative. He hasn't been able to get himself moving. He's facing Mackenzie over here. But there's this hole that's been punched through by Ruffin and Lapice, who have punched through and captured the Casa de Valdefuente, which was protected by some Spanish troops who have now been pushed back to here. They routed and they've recovered here. And they've had one of their units completely wiped out. And they're sitting up there. Now this is where the beauty of this game comes along. What you can also see here is that the 1st Division with Sherbrooke was along this line here. Because the French moved off and then got pushed back, what happened is the French got pushed back, and there were Lapice, who had captured the mountain point, the top here, had been pushed back. So Wesley saw an opportunity, ordered the 1st Division forward to grab it off the French and try and take the flank there. But what happened is while we were waiting for that order, the English were waiting for that order to be accepted and then implemented. It got delayed. The French actually got themselves together, hit a number of initiative rolls, and pushed forward and smashed this hole through here. They're sort of swinging, both sides were like that, and they're sort of swinging around like this at the moment. Currently, Victor is trying to get initiative for his whole corps, one big roll for his whole corps, to push down, capture the Cerro de Medellin, and then push on down into Talavera. So we'll see how that goes for him. A bit further south, you can see this whole line was where Sherbrooke was positioned. It's basically just held by guns at the moment. There's Wellesley, some more guns, and then we're down to the Paja de Vergara, who, Lapice, who's just over here, I think. No, Lapice. Laval is here. He's been tasked with capturing this. Sebastiani pushed into here and opened up another gap by routing the Spanish. They're back here. As you can see, they've been routed back to there. And there's some English who got routed. While that was happening, Wellesley ordered Campbell to come around here and attack the French. Now, Campbell managed to rout one group of the French, but they didn't get through this little lot here. So there's a struggle going on here. Down here, we've still got the Spanish, and hasn't been much moving going on. Cuesta is trying to get Zayas. Yeah, he's actually trying to get Zayas. JP Zayas, who controls the van, is the best leader we've got here, to reposition himself up here and try and protect along here, along the line of the Portina, to try and stop the French from pushing across. Over here we can see their Souls is moving on with his infantry. His cavalry are already up here. There's King Joseph. Now he's moving up. Headquarters are being established here. A bit close to the British. They're just up there. But anyway, the headquarters are going to be established there. Now, King Joseph can't leave headquarters, and he can only give orders. He can't leave headquarters, and he can only give orders in person. So the officers either have to travel to him, or what you can do is you use his advisor, Jourdan. So he has to accept the orders of the king. Then he travels to the headquarters of the other officer it's being sent to, and then they have to accept it off Jourdan, and eventually they're implemented. So what's happened is he has actually gone and visited Lavelle and told him that the new orders are for him to attack. Actually, the king wants him to attack to here, past Wellesley and up here into this gap here, but he's currently under his old orders, which are telling him to attack here until they break down, or he accepts his new orders, and then he accepts his new orders, and he'll have to swing up here. This is where the order system really shines for the solo gamer. It's because your orders aren't going to be implemented immediately. Usually, they're not accepted straight away. It takes a little bit of a delay. So the battle actually changes while you're waiting for them to be implemented. The English sat along here for a couple of turns, waiting for their roll, and as they were doing it, I could see the French pushing through, and I was like, I want to send new orders. But I couldn't get them implemented, and the old orders came through and activated. Now I could keep sending them orders, and hopefully then new orders will activate, but they're now pushed through to here. We could try and reform along the Portina and push north, but as I said, Victor's trying to swing his whole force through here and then down onto Talavera from the north, which is not bad country. It's pretty open. The Spanish would have to probably try and redeploy to the north of the city if this did work. The English are no pushover in combat, though Mackenzie's not the healthiest. His troops aren't in the healthiest spot. Ruffin's a bit wrecked. The cavalry have backed off. They've tried charging and it hasn't really worked for them, so they've backed off. It's not they can. So this is a clear area where they can charge. There's a bit of clear area there. It's a bit more clear here as well. They can charge, but a lot of this map, and there's some more cavalry-friendly territory, but a lot of it is places like these olive groves, which are hindering, so they can't charge through it, and cavalry are shaken when they move through it. Got some forests and some orchards, so it's not particularly good cavalry area, or some really steep territory here where they can move through but they can't charge through. So things are interesting. Hill on the Sierra de Medellin is looking really outnumbered, as these guys, if they get their acts together, turn around and start pushing down from the north. We're about to start the 9 a.m. turn. Like I said, 9 a.m. turn, so the French will be going first. If Victor can get his roll, that'll be great. If he can't, it's not the worst thing. The English aren't really in a great position. The way initiative works is if he misses his roll for his whole corps, no one in his corps can roll for individual initiative, so that'll put them out of action. But I think it's worth it trying to get the whole group moving. He's the best rated leader at 4, so it's going to give you the best chance of hitting an initiative roll. Even then, it's still quite low. You've got to roll on 2 dice. The first dice being 10s, the second dice being units. You've still got to roll a 54 or higher, so it still takes a pretty good roll to get them. Down here, things are a little bit more messed up. Merlin and his cavalry could probably charge across here, but there's not really any targets for them. Valence with his 1 brigade, a strong brigade, but his 1 brigade, hasn't really been tasked with doing anything. Got the 1 DDR, 1 dragoon, the first dragoons, again more cavalry, and again good territory for cavalry, nothing really for them to charge at. They're going to hit the stream and not being able to charge across that stream. And when the Souls comes on as well, you're going to have some more infantry, which may be able to push across this area here. Of course, we may decide to switch completely and head down one of these roads and try and bust through Talavera, especially if the van moves. JP's as here takes these guys out of that line to move up to defend up here. There's going to be a big hole here, which the French could also look at. There are no more reinforcements. This is it for the 2 sides. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do with the forces we've got. This is where the action seems to be up here, though, with Victor. And this will be where the decisive attack probably comes from. And it'll probably come from Vilat, I should say. Vilat. Mainly because his troops have been out of all the fighting. They have not done any fighting. They've not taken no losses. Are all in good condition and are just ready, itching to get moving, and just can't hit the roll. They need to move them on. So we'll get on with the 9 o'clock turn, and I'll get on and get back on when I've got some more stuff to update. Hopefully the battlefield will look a little bit differently as the different plans develop further.